Hi, I'm Jacob and this is the Prepper's Bunker, and today I'm going to talk to you about a mentality that I'm seeing pop up a lot all over, and that is kind of a bushcraft versus tactical mentality. And to get straight into it, I think that this mentality exists because, first and foremost, the definition of tactical has been forgotten. So something is tactical if it is not administrative. It aids in the use of tactics. For instance, wearing camo gear in a combat situation is clearly tactical. If you were on a mission to infiltrate a college campus, it would not be tactical. In that scenario, covert gear that has purpose but looks normal would be tactical. And vice versa. So what is or isn't tactical depends very much on what you're doing, not on the item itself. And sadly, tactical has come to mean fantasy. So the cooler something looks and the more scary it looks and the more liberals think that it's some kind of death machine, you start putting hooks and stupid crap on knives and they look like some kind of Star Trek bull crap, all of a sudden it becomes tactical. All right, none of them are tactical. In fact, if you're looking for a knife for your kit, a practical knife is much more tactical than what most people would think of as a tactical knife. So one thing that plagues both the tactical and the bushcraft community, it's a plague, but it also makes it what it is it's a buyer's market. And so you have a vast majority of the market that has zero experience in either the tactical field or the bushcraft field, but they like the fantasy of it. They buy a bunch of stuff, but since they have no experience to give their decisions context, they fall for foolish trends and cheap stuff that's crap and fills up the market, and it's a waste of money and it sucks. The tactical market and the bushcraft market in that aspect are exactly the same. That is partially a good thing because a lot of those people do financially support the businesses that are out there making good products. So it's kind of a two-edged sword there. It's an interesting situation. But what I want to talk about is tactical bushcraft. As you may know, I come from a military background. I did a deployment in Afghanistan at the 173rd Airborne, did 4.5 years in the Army as an airborne infantryman. Did all kinds of cool stuff and crap like that and whatever. But I was one of the few soldiers that took my SEER kit seriously. And as you may know now, with Beach and Tactical, I've released my own SEER kit pouch because it's something I still take seriously. But one thing that's incredibly important is that what is tactical for a soldier and what is tactical for a veteran or a civilian or someone in anything that's not a government-sponsored military is very different, because in the military you have what we call pogues, people other than grunts. You have thousands of people behind you supporting you, doing all of the logistics and everything that you need done. And they are a number to you, and you are a number to them, and we're all numbers to a government that cares because you've got a dollar value hanging over your head, but not much beyond that. Now, in small unit tactics, let's say you're not in the military, a lot of those military tactics and strategies go out the window, 100%. So if you're watching this and you've never been in the military and you've never been in combat, and you've been looking into military tactics, mostly everything that the military does will not work for small unit tactics. And I've recently come into some guy on Facebook who has a profile picture of him posing with a high point, which is your first sign. And he keeps talking about military tactics, and he keeps referencing basic training. All right, so if you're not in the military and someone's talking about their military experience and they're talking about basic training, you can automatically write them off as having no idea what's going on. The guy doesn't even have a solid grasp on the tactics that he's trying to talk about as learned in basic training, and has absolutely no experience to apply that to anything in reality. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the reason that bushcraft and the tactical community should be so closely linked, and I don't know why there's such a separation, is that the SEER mentality, survive, evade, resist, escape, is so much more of a reality for those skills are so much more of a necessity for either a bushcrafter, or if you're in a militia or have a military mindset and are thinking towards small unit tactics, because you don't have thousands of numbers. You have you and your family and a couple friends, and if any one of you dies, that could be the whole operation. Every life is more important than any amount of gear, which is not how the military is. So any person who's not training to go overseas with the military should know your basic bushcraft skills, which I will define basic bushcraft skills essentially as fire making skills up to friction fires, which I'm certainly not an expert on, and how to roughly process game. I'm not talking about nice cuts of meat. I'm talking about getting the fur off something and being able to eat it safely. That's what I'm going to define as your basic bushcraft skills, and making the traps to make that happen. So that, for a small unit, is 1,000 times more important, or 1,000,000 times more important than it is for a military person. And so the lines start being blurred for us regular people between what's tactical and what's bushcraft. And for instance, the fire kit in my SEER kit is an emergency fire kit, but could absolutely be used to great effect by any bushcrafter. And any bushcrafter who's going out by themselves and ends up in a bad situation, it could become a tactical piece of kit, because it could be what saves their life. So coming from a military background, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently, and you're going to start seeing that in my channel. I've always kind of had a mixture of guns, knives, and bushcraft, but that's going to start becoming more pronounced, and you're going to see me fielding a lot of my own personal gear and a lot of my friends' gear that are Cordura nylon, as opposed to wax-sealed canvas and wool. But you'll see the wax-sealed canvas and wool too. All of these things are important, and the point that I want to get across is that a lot of tactical guys don't do anything with bushcraft, and they think it's going to be easy. All right, you go to all these training classes, you do all this shooting, and you think that you're going to go start a fire and all of this other stuff with your 60-pound pack when you're bugging out, and it's just not going to happen. You know, if you make it through the fight, you're going to die after the fight, but you're probably not going to make it to the fight. You're probably going to die. And the bushcraft guys on the opposite end of the spectrum think that they've got their skills to the point, and the tactical stuff's going to be easy. They're going to pull out their gun and be Rambo and slaughter their enemies and then survive forever in the wilderness. And that's not going to happen either, for one, because that's not really what bushcraft is, but also because the tactical stuff isn't as easy. You have kind of almost two different mindsets on what is important. They are both important. You need to get to the fight. You need to win the fight. You need to get out of the fight. And if you're talking about small unit tactics, that's going to involve tactical and bushcraft. That's what I'm here to talk to you guys about. That's the direction that we're going to be going in. I'm not here to be super hua and super tactical, and I'm not here to teach primitive skills, although primitive skills are something that I find to be important, but I don't find them to be as important or practical as your basic bushcraft skills. So that's all I got for today, guys. Keeping it short and easy. Next week, I'm planning a longer video on something that I'm going to get real fired up about, like I usually do on Tactical Tuesdays. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I look forward to talking to you. I have named the goats, by the way. This is Kimber, our female. And our male here, who's going to be a wether, he's Scudley. So he's going to lose his nuts, and hopefully by next year around this time we'll be looking at breeding with a couple more goats. But it's all a process. Also, you can message me through Facebook or YouTube or through comments and ask me any questions you want. And I'm thinking about starting a question series probably once a month where I just answer fan questions. They can be tactical, they can be bushcraft, they can be kind of personal-ish. Whatever you guys want, I can answer whatever questions it is that you guys have. So I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I look forward to talking to you.